You're about to listen to The Day Our Phones Told Us Not to Look Up by Reddit user Pentyworth223. My phone buzzed in my hand like it wanted out of my grip. It wasn't the normal quick vibration either. It held on too long. The cheap plastic case rattled against my palm. Around the room, the sound spread in a messy wave. Desks humming, pockets vibrating, a couple phones skittering across tabletops and smacking the floor. The air filled with that bright, angry bzzz chorus that only happens during a storm warning. Mr. Haskins stopped mid-sentence. He'd been talking about the 14th Amendment. The word he got stuck on was equal, which felt like the universe taking a cheap shot. We all did the same thing without planning it. Heads down, eyes on glass. The alert took up the entire screen. Full brightness, big block text. No clean format, no county name, no reassuring logo. It looked like someone typed it while moving, thumbs shaking, rushing, cutting corners. I read it once, then again, because my brain refused to accept it the first time, the way it rejects a bad download that shouldn't have opened. It wasn't just the message. It was how it talked to you. The wording felt hostile, personal. People reacted in layers. First, the small sounds. What the? Yo, is this real? Did you get that too? Somebody laughed behind me, short and wrong, like their body picked it on reflex. Then bigger stuff. Chair scraping, someone standing too fast, and cracking their knee under the desk, swearing low. A couple kids started screenshotting as if proof mattered. Their phones made that camera shutter click. That sound hit a nerve. Saving it felt gross, like making it a souvenir. Mr. Haskins stepped into the middle of the room, hands up, palms out. Everybody, okay, phones away, phones away. If it's an emergency, the office will... He trailed off because his own phone buzzed on the lectern. He looked down and his face shifted. Nothing dramatic, just less color, like the blood decided to leave. My eyes tried to lift out of habit, toward the clock, toward the windows, toward any adult cue that would explain what was happening. Then, down the hall, Mrs. Barone screamed. It wasn't a startled sound. It was a real scream, the kind that makes your scalp tingle and your ribs feel hollow. Every kid in the room flinched. A few halfway stood like they were about to bolt. My legs twitched, and I hated that my body chose run without offering a destination. Mr. Haskins snapped, voice cracking. Eyes down, everybody. Eyes down. That landed. Not because he was the teacher, because that scream made the alert feel like it had already climbed inside the building. So we looked down. I stared at a chip in the floor tile by my sneaker, off-white with a gray scuff, shaped like Florida. Under my desk was a dried blob of gum like a fossil. The classroom smell suddenly mattered. Expo marker, old carpet, that lemon cleaner that always made the air feel damp. My phone vibrated again, but it was the group chat, not another alert. Jaden, do not look outside, bro. Nina, they said not to look up? Seth, what is them? I didn't answer. My thumb hovered and froze. My hands were shaking enough that if I typed, I'd send something dumb and regret it for the rest of my life. The intercom clicked on, then off, then on again. Students and staff, Principal Darnell said. He sounded like he'd been moving fast. This is Principal Darnell. We are initiating a hold in place. I repeat, hold in place. Lock all classroom doors. Move away from windows. Teachers, follow emergency procedure. Students, remain calm. His voice thinned on remain calm, like the words didn't fit his mouth. Mr. Haskins moved fast. He locked the door. He yanked the blinds down so hard, the slats slapped. They didn't cover perfectly. The old blinds bent in places. Thin blades of daylight still cut through at angles and striped the floor like bars. Back wall, he said. Everybody to the back wall, now. We shuffled. Shoes squeaked. Somebody's backpack zipper snagged and made a gritty zip sound that felt too loud. We piled against the far wall like he could hide us. Someone started crying quietly. Mia, scrunchy always on her wrist, never did homework, somehow aced tests. She was trying to swallow it like he could swallow panic. Mr. Haskins stood with his back to the door. Has anyone looked? He asked, softer than I expected. Has anyone looked up? Nobody answered. A few kids shook their heads hard. I didn't raise my hand. I didn't want to be the person who admitted I almost did. From somewhere deeper in the building came a sound like a locker getting hit with a bat. One sharp clang. Silence. Another clang. Farther away. Mr. Haskins swallowed. Okay, we're going to stay here until we get further instruction. Why? Someone snapped, too loud. Mr. Haskins took a deep breath. I don't know. That honesty hit harder than the scream. It meant there wasn't an adult layer between us and whatever was happening. It meant we were just kids and one social studies teacher in a room with blinds that didn't close right. My phone buzzed with a call. Mom. I declined it and felt instant guilt, hot and stupid. I texted instead, hands shaking so bad I typed it wrong twice. I'm okay. Lockdown. Don't know why. Love you. It sent. 3 dots appeared on her end, disappeared, appeared again. I pictured her at work, staring at her phone like the screen could hand her control. Mr. Haskins' phone rang. He answered in a clipped voice. Yes. Yes. We're secured. Away from windows. They got it. No, nobody. He paused, listening. His face went slightly gray. Understood, he said. He hung up and looked at us, like we'd gained weight. We're going to be here a while, he said. Buses aren't coming. Parents are being told not to drive. A couple kids started talking at once. My sister's in middle school. My mom works downtown. My dad's on the highway. Little personal emergencies stacked into a wall. Mr. Haskins held up both hands. Listen, we're safe in here. We followed procedures. Eli Warner leaned against the wall and smirked. Skinny kid, always wearing earbuds like they were part of him. The smirk was an amusement. It was something he wore when he didn't know what else to do. Jaden leaned towards me. Peppermint gum smelled like always. My cousin at Westbrook says their windows are black, like, not tinted, just black out there. Nina, hoodie up even though it wasn't cold, murmured without looking at him. Stop. The hallway outside our door went quiet in a way that didn't feel normal. Too neat, like someone flipped the switch. Then it wasn't quiet anymore. A dragging scrape moved down the corridor, slow and uneven. A heavy chair dragged across tile. Under it was a faster sound. Quick taps. Fingernails. The scrape got closer. Stopped outside our room. Nobody breathed. Something on the other side of the door made a wet clicking sound. No words. Just joints shifting. Hand-like, but wrong. Extra hinges where there shouldn't be any. Then, very gently, the door handle wiggled. Once. Twice. Slow testing movements. Mr. Haskins' hand went to the handle. Not to open it, to hold it. His knuckles went white. His eyes flicked to the tiny window in the door. We'd covered it weeks ago with construction paper and never took it down. For once, laziness paid rent. The handle stopped moving. The scrape started again, moving away. My whole body started trembling after it passed, like my nerves waited until it was gone and then remembered to panic. Jaden's voice barely existed. What was that? Mr. Haskins didn't answer. He said, "No one goes near the windows." Eli's eyes were glossy. The smirk stayed, but it looked wrong now, like his face didn't have permission to do that anymore. "I wasn't..." "You won't," Mr. Haskins cut in. "Not for any reason." Eli glanced at the blinds, at the thin stripes of daylight. You could see the thought forming. If he knew what it was, it would stop being bigger than him. He stood. "Eli," Mr. Haskins snapped. Eli held up one hand without turning around. "Chill," basically. His other hand went to the blind cord. "Don't," Nina hissed. Her fingernails dug into her sleeve. "I'm just gonna look out," Eli whispered. "Quick, we need to know." "You need to sit down," Mr. Haskins said, taking one step forward, then stopping, like his feet didn't want to go any closer to that side of the room. Eli pulled one slat aside. He didn't even get a full second. His face changed instantly, like somebody shut off the person part of him and left the body part on. He made a small, soft sound, almost a sigh. Then his head tilted back. His eyes tried to roll up and got stuck halfway. He started walking toward the window, slow and steady, no panic, sleepwalking, drawn toward something that recognized him. Mr. Haskins grabbed him around the chest from behind and hauled him back. Eli didn't fight. He didn't react. His arms hung like dead weight. "Close your eyes," Mr. Haskins barked. "Eli, close your eyes." Eli's lips moved. No sound for a beat. Then he whispered, calm as a weather report. "They're here." Mia's crying got louder. Someone near the corner started hyperventilating. Jaden gagged like he might throw up. Mr. Haskins dragged Eli back and shoved him down gently against the wall. He snapped the blind slat closed and pulled Eli's hoodie up over his head like fabric to block whatever got in. Eli kept staring upward under the hood anyway, like the ceiling was a screen. Pupils huge, no blinking. "What did you see?" someone asked, like daring him. Eli smiled. It didn't match his face. "It's so bright," he whispered. Mr. Haskins turned on us, eyes wet, furious. "Nobody goes near the windows." We nodded, not in sync. Nobody wanted to look coordinated for some reason. That was the first big mistake of the day, and it didn't feel like it belonged to Eli alone. It felt like the building had just collected a new piece of information. After that, the school didn't sound like a school anymore. The baseline noise was gone. No HVAC hum, no distant chatter. Huge pockets of quiet, broken by isolated impacts. One locker slam, then 10 minutes of nothing. Then a faint thud, like someone stumbling. Every time sound moved down the hallway, our bodies tightened. When it moved away, we loosened just enough to feel our own muscles, then tightened again. My phone kept buzzing. I ignored it until I opened my messages with my mom and saw her text sit there, unsent, for a full minute, then finally deliver like it had to push through mud. "Where are you exactly? Are you safe? Do not go outside." I typed, "Room 214, Mr. Haskins. Door locked. I'm okay." It hung. It didn't send. My chest did that small, irrational squeeze, like the phone failing to send was proof the outside world wasn't steady anymore. Late morning, the intercom clicked again. Static. Darnell's voice came through the board.
"Remain in place. Do not. Windows. Repeat."
The rest got eaten by static. Mr. Haskins looked down at his phone, then up at us. "Cell service is getting unreliable. Conserve battery." "Why can't they just tell us what's happening?" Seth said, voice climbing. Mr. Haskins' eyes flicked to Eli under his hood. "Because maybe they don't know."
he said. That hit the room wrong. We didn't want to believe the adults didn't know. We needed them to know. The way you need a railing on stairs in the dark. Eli whispered under his hood, almost pleased. They know enough to warn you. Eli, Mr. Haskins said low. Stop. Eli's quiet laugh wasn't amused. It sounded satisfied, like he'd been let in on something. And that was when things started breaking between us. It began as whispers and turned into an argument that had nowhere to go. Jaden wanted water. The classroom had one dusty bottle in Mr. Haskins' desk, and it tasted like plastic and old pennies. Jaden kept saying there was a fountain in the hall. If he went fast, he could fill bottles. Nina kept saying, if we leave, that's engagement, like the word itself might trip something. Seth called her paranoid. Nina snapped that he was stupid. Mia cried harder and said she wanted her mom. Tyler, baseball guy, always acting invincible, said we should make a run for the gym because it had emergency exits. Mr. Haskins tried to steady it. We're staying here, we wait for instruction. What if there's no instruction? Jaden snapped. Silence. Mr. Haskins' shoulders sagged, then straightened. We will get help, he said, and it sounded like he was trying to convince himself as much as us. He rummaged in his desk and found one granola bar, gum, cough drops, and the warm water bottle. He held up the granola bar like it mattered. This is what I have, he said. We ration, we conserve, we stay calm. He snapped the granola bar into smaller pieces and handed them out. People took crumbs like they were precious. Even Seth just stared at his piece like it was a weird math problem. My crumb tasted like oats and dust and the fact I was already thinking about tomorrow. Around noon, the power died. The lights didn't even stutter. Everything simply cut out. The HVAC hum stopped. The fluorescence died. The projector fan quit. The quiet got bigger, like someone had opened a door to a bigger room. Daylight still came through the blinds in thin stripes, but it looked sharper now. The light had texture. It wanted you to notice it. People checked phones like signal bars could explain anything. Calls failed. Texts hung. Batteries dropped faster than they should. Someone cursed when their percentage ticked down, like it was personal. Then a new sound came from above the ceiling. Not from the vents, from above the tiles. Careful shifting, weight moving across the grid. Everyone noticed. Heads tilted, but not up. Just angled. The shifting stopped above the center of the room. A tile bent downward slightly. Dust sifted down. It lifted, then slid to the side. Controlled. A shape appeared in the gap. I didn't look straight at it. My eyes stayed down, but peripheral vision still registered limbs. Too many. Arranged wrong. Moving with careful precision. One limb extended down, slow as a crane. The end wasn't a hand. It was a cluster of jointed segments that could pinch, tap, test. It tapped the desk, then tapped again, closer. Mr. Haskins grabbed the metal yardstick from the back of the room and held it like a weapon. The yardstick looked stupid in his hands, and then it didn't, because stupid was better than empty. Stay still, he breathed to us. Tap, tap, tap. Then it paused, and I felt the air pressure shift, ears popping slightly, like the room changed its mind about how much air it wanted. Eli whispered, almost happy. It's looking for the ones who look. The limb jerked toward Eli, like that word rang a bell. It dipped down, touched Eli's hood, soft, careful, a doctor checking reflexes. Eli shivered. A tiny laugh escaped him. Hi, he whispered, Mr. Haskins swung the yardstick and cracked it against the desk near the limb. The limb snapped back upward instantly. Tile slid back into place. Silence. Then the shifting moved away, quick and light. Nobody spoke for a long time after. That, Jaden whispered, was in the ceiling. Nina's eyes were locked on the floor. How does it fit up there? It doesn't, I whispered. That should have been enough for the day. The building didn't agree. After the ceiling thing, the school got busier. Movement in multiple directions. Different rhythms. Fast tapping, slow dragging. A faint patter. Too many feet on tile. Soft clicking, like knuckles popping, but wrong. Then we heard running in the hallway. Sneakers slapping tile, several pairs. Panicked. A voice shouted, "Get in! Get in any room!" Something slammed into lockers hard enough to ring. A scream cut off too fast. Then a dragging sound, low and steady, something heavy being pulled away. That was when my fear shifted. It stopped being a thing outside the room. It became a thing moving through the building with us in it. Mr. Haskins whispered, "Stay quiet." A few minutes later, someone hit our door. A girl's voice, breathless, desperate.
Hello? Is anyone in there? Please open up.
Mr. Haskins flinched toward the handle automatically, like his body had been trained to respond to students asking for help. "Don't," Nina whispered. Mia sobbed, "Please don't." I recognized the voice and my stomach dropped. "That's Olivia," I whispered. Olivia Chen, theater kid, vanilla lotion smell, not someone who'd prank a crisis. She banged again.
Please, something's in the hall. I can't.
Her words cut off with a strangled gasp. Metal rattled in a chain reaction. Lockers taking a hit. A body shoved. Olivia screamed once, short and sharp. Then it turned into wet choking. Mr. Haskins' hand twitched on the handle. I realized he'd been about to open it. Not because it was safe, because he couldn't handle letting a kid die outside his door. The choking stopped. Silence. Then that wet clicking sound again, right outside our door. Something tapped the door in a light, quick rhythm. Tap, 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 tap. The tapping stopped. A voice came through the door, soft and controlled.
Hello?
Olivia's voice said. But it wasn't Olivia. Same pitch, wrong timing, wrong emphasis. Somebody wearing her voice without knowing how to move in it.
Hello?
It repeated.
Is anyone in there? Please, open up.
Cold went through me, fast, skin tight, teeth aching. Eli whispered, "Active engagement." The handle wiggled, stopped. Then something scraped down the door slowly, nails dragged with deliberate pressure. A long squeal that made my teeth ache. Mr. Haskins pressed his forehead to the door for half a second. Eyes shut, and something in him gave a quiet crack. When the scrape moved away, he backed up, breathing hard. "We're not opening the door," he said hoarsely, "no matter what you hear." Nobody argued. After Olivia, the building felt meaner, like it understood exactly where to poke us. Mr. Haskins spoke quietly. "We do shifts. 2 people awake at a time. Watch the door. Watch the ceiling. Conserve phone battery." "What about water?" Jaden whispered. Mr. Haskins hesitated. "We'll figure it out." "We have to." Early evening, the light through the blinds stopped fading normally. It stuttered. Bright, dim, bright. It didn't look like clouds. It looked like the outside couldn't decide what setting it wanted. We didn't look out. We watched the light stripes on the floor like they were the only safe information we were allowed to have. It flickered brighter, Like a camera flash you feel through your eyelids. Mia whimpered and buried her face into Nina's shoulder. Jaden whispered, "What if it's like a signal?" Eli whispered back, "It's a mirror." Mr. Haskins hissed, "Eli!" Eli went quiet like he was listening to something behind our ears. Then Tyler stood up again. He'd been sitting with his knees hugged, sweating like he'd run a mile. When he stood, it felt like watching a lid pop off of a boiling pot. "I'm not staying in here," he said. "Tyler," Mr. Haskins began. Tyler shook his head hard. "We're gonna die of thirst, or they're gonna come through the ceiling, or that voice thing is gonna make someone open up the door. We can't just sit." "We need water," he said. "We need to check the hallway. Just the fountain." Nina whispered, "That's engagement." Tyler snapped his eyes at her. "Stop saying that like it's magic." "It might be," Nina whispered, trying not to cry. Mr. Haskins stepped between Tyler and the door. "We don't know what's out there." Tyler's jaw clenched. "We don't know what's in here either." Mr. Haskins' voice cracked. "I'm trying to keep you alive." Tyler leaned closer, angry and scared. What if alive in here isn't alive? Even Eli stopped moving. Mr. Haskins stared at Tyler, breathing hard. You could see him doing the math. Risk leaving versus risk staying. Finally, he said, "If anyone goes, you don't go alone." He looked at me. "You," he said. "Name?" "Ben," I managed. "Ben, you're steady. You're going with me. Everyone else stays." Some stories end when the words stop. Others don't end at all. If you enjoyed this story, there are many more waiting in the dark. Until next time.